Hey guys, Chumbask here, bringing you another replay. Today it's between TeD, who is the undead in the 11 o'clock position, and Wulin, who is the red orc in the 7 o'clock position. As you probably know, orc versus undead sort of has a fairly favourable win percentage for orc, but TeD is probably the best undead in the world, and Wulin probably the sort of 20th best orc in the world. So that probably evens things out a bit. And it's on Twisted Meadows, as you can see, which is actually, as far as orcs and undead go, it's all right for undead, just because they're more likely to make it to the late game, where they have a sort of a better win percentage. And as you can see, TeD's going for his typical fiend strat that he's sort of known for. So well, like, I can't remember the last time I saw him go ghouls. I think I've seen it occasionally, but the vast majority of games sort of he goes fiends against orc. He often goes it as well against other races. I've seen him go it like this build against elf and human as well, but against orc almost every game he'll go fiends. And very standard build. Blocking off your base is something that is really important for undeads in every matchup, really, but especially versus orc, where a blade master can just come in at any time and start picking off your acolytes, and if you're teching, that can be really bad for your economy. And as you can see, TeD's done a very sort of standard block of his base. He'll probably put some cigarettes here as well. Just he's allowed enough space, 3 blocks, just to build his ziggurats in a very protected position, and also it means you can go. There's one there. You can see that he doesn't have to move his acolytes very far, and they're fairly well protected if he wants to upgrade them to towers. And Demon Hunt, Death Knight and Crypt Feed coming out for TeD, whereas I think his Blade Master, there's a Blade Master there. He's gone and sold his TP and bought a Circlet, and he's now just gonna creep this camp and get very close to level 2. Probably heal up at his shop here, and then Wulin will go and harass. Meanwhile, TeD, you get a bit of extra time with your first fiend if you go for the standard build, and so since TeD doesn't have time to scout, he just scouts there, and you generally don't want to scout when you're doing this build, because if you build an extra acolyte, that puts you at 18 food when you want to be building your next fiend, and that just obviously isn't advisable at all. So you just don't scout, and you sort of have to hope that they aren't coming to get you, or they aren't doing an unusual strategy. But that's fairly safe, because I mean it is orc. They pretty much have sort of a couple, like, not very many strategies, and they're not very different from each other. So TeD can be fairly happy in what's going to happen. And as you can see, Wulin does know where TeD is, and is just coming in to try and steal this creep here. And TeD does have dust. He already burnt 1 dust when he just started creeping the camp, and he just coils this one actually to get the experience and the item. So that's very nice for him. But but Wulin does kill a skeleton, which gets him level 2. So it's still not bad for him. TeD already teching, so we're likely to see a Lich come out second, and probably quick tech to tier 3 with more fiends, and then getting an orb. Undead orbs are so good. They're like, if you have a good focus firing army like fiends provide, an orb adds like almost 100% to your damage. They are so effective. And TeD just quickly rocking around now. He goes and picks up a couple skeletons, and TeD skeletons are just legendary. Like they are everywhere at once. It is amazing what he does with those things. Just if you actually watch him, he's like Moon with Wisp scouts. As you can see, like he'll just always have a couple running around the map. He spends so much on them, but they really are more than pay for themselves. And getting a bit luckier, getting a very nice block on this grunt, and Wulin I think will actually try and sacrifice it to the creeps rather than let TeD get the experience. It looks like that's what he's going to go for now. And TeD losing 3 skeletons, but obviously that's a price you're going to pay. And a nice block there by Wulin. Meanwhile, Wulin's Blade Master is trying to get to this fiend, but TeD's blocking him, so a bit of each side's blocking the other. And TeD does have a slow tower, but that might not stop the Blade Master. No, the Blade Master does decide to turn around, and try and get out of there. But again, TeD blocks, and is now chasing down the Blade Master, but turns around. I think is His tech should almost be done, yeah. TeD does go and quickly coil that fiend because it was at very low health, and Wulin did have enough mana for 2 windwalks, so he could have just windwalked in, quickly killed it, and then windwalked out again. And TeD picked up a sacrificial skull, so he'll probably put it down here for creeping, because he's not going for tower rush. Yeah, he puts it down there so that he expects his camp's going to take a while. He expects he might be scouted, and or he knows he's been scouted, and so he wants to be able to stay on the Blight as long as possible, just because that gives such good healing. It's really worth the 50 gold if you have it spare, which obviously TeD does. And he has now reached tier 2. He'll be bringing out his hero, and then as soon as he can afford it, he'll be teching, and there's the lich there, and he'll probably go straight to tier 3, so he can get the orb, and we'll have to see what he goes for. He'll probably be putting up a slaughterhouse at some point as well. He hasn't yet, and he's still actually only at 3 ziggurats, so he'll want to put up another ziggurat soon as well. Very nice by Wulin here. He's moving his Blade Master right over the rock golem, so even though TeD has dusted, he can actually right-click the Blade Master, and so he just moves back a bit, so the Blade Master has to move a bit, and then he can go and attack it. And a lucky couple of critical strikes there mean that Wulin actually means that crit fiend's very low, and Wulin goes and chases it, but TeD uses this opportunity to try and steal the creep, and he does actually get the creep steal, and he gets both the items as well, so that's very nice for him. And TeD must be enjoying this, because I'm not sure if this is online or not, but they're both Chinese players, so he won't be getting the general China lag that he normally plays against when he's online. As you'll notice, where you mine your lumber as a undead is really important. You have to only go generally on one side of the graveyard, and you have to leave the side of trees, because otherwise you can accidentally expose your gold mine without realizing it. And especially considering TeD's doing a lot of teching, he's teching again now and putting up a slaughterhouse, it'd be really bad if he lost a couple acolytes now, and yeah, because he couldn't rebuild them for a very long time. As you can see, Wulin's gone for a Spirit Lodge and a Bestiary, so we're going to be seeing a very standard army from Wulin, and Blade Master actually avoiding the dust that TeD just did there by moving into the edge, but he does actually reveal himself there and then runs away again. And TeD dusts again. I'm not sure, did he catch him? Yeah, he did catch the Blade Master this time, so I don't think the Blade Master will be able to run in. And Death Knight picks up a Tome of Intelligence +2, that's quite nice, and we'll have to see. Blade Master actually almost gets the item, but it's a Lionheart of Stormwind, which TeD will sell. And meanwhile, Shadowhunter for Wulin already creeped this spot here, so we could sneak an Expo at some point if he feels that he has enough of an advantage. And very standard army, so 4 grunts, a Shadowhunter, a Spirit Walker, and a Raider out for Wulin, and he's second to tier 3 as well, so maybe he'll go for a not Pocket Factory, a Expo item, whatever they're called, and he'll definitely go for an Orb as well, just because Orbs are so good against Undead. Just actually, if Orcs ever do go tier 3, you have to buy the Orb, because it's just such a good item. And Wulin just hanging around TeD's base. He looks like he might be. No, he isn't going to try and attack any of the units. Oh no, maybe he's going back. TeD's going for 2 Temple of the Dams, which Wulin has now scouted, and Wulin does go to attack this, but it looks like he's not going to get anything from it. Temple of the Dams is going to mean Banshees from TeD, and this is actually a really fun strategy to watch. He'll probably go for Master Banshee and go for Possession, but also putting a lot of emphasis on Curse, which is a really useful skill against Blade Master. And you can sort of think of this strategy as similar to the going dots against an Orc, where the reason you're doing it is because you can cast a really good spell against a single unit, and the Orc army tends to consist of a few number of really good units. And you can see, just like in Elf versus Orc, it's very standard to make up a Tinker third, because a level 1 Tinker is really good at blocking off the Orc army,